Well, I was just going to say that when we first started doing the events at the IES, it was done in what's called the Great Hall. And do you remember how many people fit in the Great Hall, Mike? Okay, so 400 people. And then the stage in the Great Hall is not the biggest. And it's a castle, like an old castle that the Scientologists kind of made to look like the other stuff on the property, or to look like the castle that L. Ron Hubbard actually didn't he design the castle?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. He circumvented the local planning requirements by claiming that there had been a castle on that location at some point, and that every man was entitled to a castle in England by old English law, and so they just built it. And I'm not sure if he really designed it or not.
Fun
Yeah.
fact,
Accomplished it.
my mother, when I was 7, was on the rehabilitation project force and was working on building said castle and got a brick thrown at her head and ended up with a concussion in the hospital,
Oh my God.
which is how I learned to do touch assists to nurse her back to health.
These stories, they're
Oh my God.
endless. And speaking of endless, do you know, Claire, that castle was being built? The first time I went to St. Hill was with my parents in 1966, and one part of it was built and the rest was going to be built. That was being worked on by RPF and, estates people at St. Hill for like 25 years. It would never finish.
I think it ended up finishing when all of St. Hill had to be renovated because we're redoing the entire place. Anyway, so when we used to have the entire event in that great hall and that tiny little stage, and at a certain point when they got more than 400 people to show up, there was no way that you could fit any more there. And that was when this overflow tent was created.